So hi everyone, and hi Woztek.
Hey,
So,
I'm Wojtek from Poland.
Yeah, right. So he's a friend of mine. We met at the church actually, right? So today we will talk something far from church actually, right?
Yes.
So
We're only pretending.
so we're talking about a comic book. So all of this video will be in English. I think this is my first English video, so hopefully there's more foreigners to watch it. So yeah, so we actually met last week, right?
Yeah.
We actually met last week, and then he talked about his life. Most of it is like love life,
Yeah.
which I think.
I'm scared where this will go.
no. Which I think it will be.
I should reconsider.
No. Because which I think is very very relatable with something that I read before. So I want to start a YouTube series of reviewing comic books that I think worth to review. And this time Vostek will help me on reviewing it because it will be fun to know what is people from different perspective and background on reading those kind of books. So the book is Goodnight, Punpun. I'll put it later as an editing later. I'll put the cover of the book. In Japan, in Japanese, we will call as Oyasumi Punpun, which is Goodnight Punpun. The same definition. So we will talk about it, and then we will hear it from Vostek first. So Vostek, the first time you read the book, I think it's about 3 days. How many days?
I think it took me 3 days.
3
I was
days.
reading it out. I think
Right.
I was reading 5 hours a day.
Right. I think it's about like 170-ish chapter.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like 170.
It's 13 volumes.
Right. Exactly. I think 13, 14. I forgot.
13.
Oh, okay. So, my first question is the first time. I mean, we know that we start the book. I start to recommending the book. Actually, we were recommending by another mutual friend.
Yeah.
So which is Adi. Hi Adi. So definitely, I know he will watch.
Okay.
So,
Hi, Adi.
so Adi told me that one, but not because of a love life background. So it's
Because of which?
because
What
of
was the background?
yeah, more about like life depression, like in general. So I want to know what is your first impression on reading that book, especially because it's more about love rather than the general life, right? So I think you will relate it more. Can you tell us what is your first impression?
I'm not sure if I would say it's more about love. I think it's about Punpun. It's about how strange he is. And the first impression I got is, holy shit, this is a book about me. And I'm not happy about it. Because if you read Punpun, you usually get depressed,
Right.
that you can get the feeling, oh, there are people that are worse than me.
Okay.
And when I read Punpun, there's like, oh, actually, there are not.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was very interesting, and I think I read it a lot. So,
But what kind of emotion that you got?
First emotion is sad, straight up sad. Then maybe
Since the childhood scene.
Yes, I think since the childhood, because Punpun, he has some friends, but he almost never speaks.
Right.
He's very silent,
Right.
which resonates with me deeply.
Right.
And like, how I feel about it is that Punpun has those friends, but if someone new joined the circle of friends that Punpun has, then Punpun will just get replaced, or just go slower in the group hierarchy or whatever.
Right.
So I think that moment made me feel very sad because this was childhood, so I was also there. So I kind of learned how to behave better in a group setting. But yeah, so that was very sad because it reminded me of my past. So that would be sadness. Then he met Aiko.
Right.
I mean, this was one of the first scenes.
Right. As an exchange student, right?
Yes, and he instantly fell in love.
All right.
Which is what exactly I do. Almost every girl I've seen. It's just not great. Do not recommend that. So that made me feel like an idiot, because when you are in the situation, you don't really think well. But when you are looking or reading that of someone doing that thing, you can actually see more clearly and distance yourself a little bit more. And that way you know, hey, this isn't actually love, you are just stupid and you are sad because you are unpopular, so you don't have the options to choose from. That way, if someone gives you even a little bit of attention, then you fall in love.
Right.
Which is not really love, it's just, I think it's to get some self-worth,
Right.
the feeling of being worthy
Right.
of attention.
Right.
Yeah, so
That's the second film. How about the last part? I mean, we don't want to spoiler that, so you should not tell.
we are not
anything.
spoiled. Okay.
We try to, but I'm just
Okay.
asking at least until the last question. So I mean,
Okay.
and this part we don't want to say for I don't want to ask details on what happened, but I just want to know what maybe in one or two words, what kind of emotion that you got
From the
reading the-
ending.
Yeah, near to the ending.
Okay, so first, when I just read it, I feel like we are back to square one. Nothing
Right,
changed.
right.
Punpun is in the exact same moment. He looks the same. So that was very sad because it means that like he went through a lot of struggles
Right.
and nothing changed. So, and if I relate myself to Punpun from my opinion, it's
Right.
bad because
It's a bad ending.
yeah, and I'll just go in circles and then there's
Right.
like straightforward. But then I started reading a little bit more about the interpretation of Punpun and the interview with the author. And
I think you agree, no?
I think no, because like there's the manga artist.
Right,
Her
right.
name is Sachi. So I don't want to spoil too much, but I think it actually ends well for Punpun, but not because of something that he as Punpun did, but because of the girl. And so now I'm more optimistic.
Mm.
So it gives a feeling of resolve.
Okay, because in my case, I mean, me personally, when I read that, the first time it's a little bit struggle for me to read it because
Why?
I think the drawing like distracted me. To be honest, I mean,
It's very disturbing.
I think the first few chapters it feels like joking in a very serious manner. You know what I mean? Like the drawing is so realistic, right? Like the people the way the artists draw the people, it's very realistic.
Okay.
But the topic is like kids at the first few chapters.
Okay.
And Punpun itself is a bird-like, right?
Yeah.
Which is for me it's really weird. Like super weird. Why don't you feel the same thing at the first time? I mean, I know the artist trying. I mean, I also read the interview. There was an interpretation. I don't think this is the artist's mind, but there was an interpretation that, oh yeah, I feel so relatable with Punpun because he doesn't have face, so I can see him as myself for the readers.
Okay.
And then the artist is kind of like, yeah, I might not really tend to do it, but looks like that kind of a style to draw the Punpun helps so much to make people relate to the comic books. I honestly, in the beginning,
Yeah.
I don't think that way, but maybe in the later part, I do think that way. So what about your thoughts on that?
Huh.
Just honest
think that-
opinion.
You recommended this book,
Right.
and you told me that I should really read it
Right.
because my story is similar to Punpun's.
Yeah, right.
So I think that I approached it with a different mindset. I was expecting to learn something about myself, so I treated it serious from the beginning. Maybe it wasn't like this for your case. But yeah, I was always wondering why Punpun is drawn like this. the way he is.
Okay.
And to be honest, I'm not sure. I think like the author himself said that he wanted to make it look cute.
Right. He said that too. Yeah,
And
that's true.
And the
That's
Punpun is not doing cute things.
Right.
There's this contradiction, and that's something I also like resonate with. Like
Oh, you do feel resonant about that.
yes, I think that he achieved what he wanted with the film. So people think that he is like harmless,
Yeah, maybe.
but in reality he's not. He's very dangerous.
Right.
But you cannot know that before you actually really get to know him. It's hard to get to know him though, but you can judge his character through his actions. So that's how it is.
Okay. So let's start now. section by section. Let's discuss it section. What I mean by section is like let's divide it into the childhood, teenage, and ending. All right.
Okay.
So you just said that previously that you also had some relatable experience with Punpun, especially in the childhood case about the friend groups and also love. I'm curious, like, cause for me, I'm not really relate to Punpun itself.
Yeah.
To be honest, but I do met a lot of people that looks like Punpun.
Okay.
I usually when I was still young, I mean I'm still young, but when I was like in the university, right. I mean when I was still in the bachelor, I usually tend to think that those kind of people like Punpun just living life too good. You know, like
what do you mean? Those kind of people like Punpun? The quiet ones? Or?
Not the quiet ones, but the one that always think that the world should be like what they thought.
Yeah.
I always thought that they never had a hardship before that they cannot control.
Okay.
So what about in your case? I mean, in the childhood case, we saw that Punpun actually. To be very honest, Punpun had quite a hard life when he was childhood. Right, his father was being
abusive towards his mother.
Right, and then put in jail.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
and then
his mother was also very strange.
Exactly, and his mother is also like having some kind of like mental problems too.
Yeah.
His uncle is good though toward him, but his uncle also has this problem, and they don't talk for a few periods because his uncle like run outside of the home, right? So I'm just curious, like for yourself, when you say that you feel relatable to Punpun, do you mean relatable in terms of like just some parts in the childhood, or like even all of those experiences that make you feels relatable?
Like that's the thing. Like my childhood was different. My childhood was very nice.
Right.
My parents were great.
Right.
I didn't have any problems. I never had problems, money or friends. But for some reason, I grew up to be like him, or like similar in some cases. So I cannot really exactly pinpoint why Punpun is like he is, or why I am like I am. But I think that Punpun is very passive.
Right. Especially when he was childhood.
Yeah, like he is always passive. He never voices his opinion. I think that he is very scared of any sort of confrontation. At least up until some point. So that's how I used to be like.
Oh really?
Yeah. I hardly ever voice my opinions, especially in a group.
Why?
Because I think that maybe that sounds like I'm a bad person, but I think like proving your point is hardly ever worth the confrontation.
Okay.
From my point of view, it's easier and better to stay quiet or like nod to uphold positive relationships. Except for proving your point. Because if it's nothing crucial, then why do you care about if someone is right or wrong? The only problem is that you pay an expense for this kind of approach. This expense is paid with ego, so it obviously hurts. And when you are doing this for your whole life, your ego is very fragile. So when you do something like this, like Punpun did, like you don't voice your opinion, you're always silent, you are scared of conversation. I think that after some time, people just start treat you differently.
Okay.
So they just start ignoring you because your actions will be predictable. But this makes you feel bad about yourself. Depends on your character, what it did in Punpun's case. And that's what led to some happenings. Like that's what led to some actions that Punpun took later in his life.
Right. But you feel relatable too for that.
Yes, I think so.
I mean, just now, the thing that you just said just now feels like an adult way of thinking, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
did
yeah,
you also
definitely.
think that way when you were a child, when you choose to be quiet? I mean, for Punpun case, I saw it just as simple as maybe because maybe because of his environment in home,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't really talk except to his father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which his father is also problematic, to be
Mhm.
honest, right? So well, I'm just curious. I mean, because again, in my case, I'm definitely not someone like Punpun. I
Okay.
talk a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm vocal enough
Yeah.
to be someone maybe Punpun will hate. You know what I mean? Like Punpun will think about like he's so noisy. Why he's so popular or something
Yeah.
like that.
That's flex.
But what I'm trying, because Punpun read that. I mean, when you read the manga, I think
Yeah.
Punpun, when they are like having a group and then they want to go somewhere,
Yeah.
like there's like some leaders of the group.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like kind of like driving the
Yeah,
group,
yeah.
and Punpun never really want to be like that.
Yeah.
And
It's not like he didn't want it. He just didn't know how to.
so that is my question, right? So in your case, in my case, I saw Punpun as he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
In your case, when you say that you are relatable to him, are you saying that you believe that Punpun want to be but
Yeah.
doesn't know how to?
Yeah. I think that Punpun very strongly wants to be like that. But he just doesn't know how, because this isn't something that you can. I mean, you can learn it to some extent, but not when you're a kid.
Right,
When you're a kid, your character is basically developing.
Right.
You don't have much of a. You don't have the mental capacity to process what's going on and to develop your character on your own in some parts.
Right. But when you say that you have some commonality with him,
Yeah.
with a very different background,
Yeah.
as a reader, can you see why you develop the same thing? I mean, is it something that was the mangaka just made it out of it, or like you can see the silver lining between both of you that you can feel related even in the childhood case?
I don't know. I think that in character development, the genetics play a huge part.
Right.
So the way if you're introverted or extroverted, it obviously matters in genetics.
Yeah, sure.
Your traits are not purely developed through your childhood.
Right.
Some of them are set from your birth.
Ah,
You can change
okay.
them a little bit.
Okay.
But
Understand.
there is the basic you, how you are, like your character traits that you were born with. You cannot replace them.
Understand.
You can build around them. And it's not legal, you know what I mean? You cannot just pick some parts and take them out. They will be there, and you can try to control them or you can try to change them in some way. But it's basically like natural selection. It was randomly assigned based on your parents' traits. So
you see it that way.
that's how I see it. But really, I don't know. Like, I only lived my life and I've read Punpun, but through reading Punpun only, I don't think we can
Oh, sure.
tell why.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, but I just don't know.
Okay. All right then. So another thing that is important. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of thing that is important in chapter of childhood.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be very honest, when you see another interview translation of the writers of the book,
Yeah.
he said that he actually want to make a plot twist of like, usually in manga industry, those childhood thing is a sweet little things that people have that manga artists put to make people want to buy it.
Okay.
But he want to make a huge turning point later, so he tried to make it as sweet as possible, so that he can make a huge contrast later.
Okay.
So I know that there's a lot of important stuff, but the last thing that I want to ask you about the childhood thing is about love.
Okay.
So we know exactly this is also the main plot, right? Like the time when she met Aiko.
Yeah.
As someone who had several experience before about love,
Yeah.
I already see Aiko as problematic since the first day.
Yeah.
Since the first day, I don't.
Okay.
What the hell is this girl? The
Yeah.
way she talks and
I see.
the way she say like, yeah, I'll kill you if you don't. I mean, for a kid, it's weird, right? I will kill you if you don't fulfill a promise and make a promise that is not achievable.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you before we go to the teenage later. Last part for me is like, but anyway, when I was a kid at the time, of course, I also do not know it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I the one who is problematic, or do I also fell in love in someone problematic? But to be honest, yeah, at the time I don't really think of it. But to be honest, on the other hand, I've never been so serious in relationship when I was in childhood. But looks like Punpun is a two kind of a guy that even as a child he's super serious on making his lover happy. So what I want to ask you is, what about Vostek? When you were on your childhood period, do you also relatable with Punpun for the love part?
I think in this way we are a little different. Because I was when I was a kid, I was studying a lot, and girls were not really that important. And also,
So you have never fell in love before when you were like
when I was in
6 to 11.
up until college.
What? Sorry.
Up until college. I
Okay.
Yeah.
Not at all. How about having interest?
Well, yeah, I had interest, but again, like I was more invested in studying or my passions than love. But I can understand Punpun because maybe it's just because I didn't have that experience before. Like my development in this area was retarded, so I'm experiencing this now. So I can understand her why he thinks like this, and it's not necessarily that he loves her.
Yeah.
He's very serious. I think that because he didn't receive any attention of this kind before, it's just very new and exciting to him.
Understand.
And he just wants it. And he cares more about himself than her, I think.
At least when he was a kid.
Yeah, and I think it progresses to all stages of his life. I don't think he really cares about it. Or maybe I'm just projecting, but
yeah,
I just don't buy it because he just saw her.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. So I understand. So after you mentioned it this way, then it's interesting because actually, if someone read Punpun, we both know that Punpun actually tried to be an astronomist.
He doesn't really try to. Just say, oh, I will because.
But he had a good score when he was. He had a time when he had a good score.
Yeah.
Before he actually chose to not do anything about education.
Yeah.
So I was also interested. So at the time, before we continue to the teenage part, when you were, because we were both in KAIS, right?
Yeah.
So we did pretty well. I mean, we should be proud of, but we did pretty well in our school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing to be flexed, but it's true, right?
It is.
So we did pretty well.
Yeah.
So at the time, I mean, for Punpun, I think because of love or something like that, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, not only love, but because of his disorientation of definition of love, he kind of like also being disoriented in life, and then like just forgetting about the dreams of becoming a astrophysicist, right? But what I'm trying to ask you is, at the time, how can you be so constantly believing that studying is your, you said that you had an interest to someone.
Yeah.
How can that not be a distraction for you to study at the time? I mean, because you say that right now you're trying to look deeper on the love side, right? You're trying to explore, right? But at the time, why can you hold that distraction? I'm just curious, because I cannot. To be honest.
I think it's just how I am. It's just at that time I was not really interested. I mean,
you choose
I
not
had
to.
interest, but it wasn't that serious. I just and like I just didn't feel the need to
Right.
make that interest into something more. That was pretty much enough for me.
I see.
About the astronomy stuff, the Punpun, I don't think he really needed to do this. I think like he didn't want it to do. I feel like he just really wants to stay in the state of I can do this, and not actually trying. Because if you try and you fail, it's bad. But if you tell yourself, oh, I can do it, so I don't have to try because I know I can. That way you don't face the possible possibility of failure.
Right.
That's how I feel about astronomy. I don't think he really wants to be astronomer.
So can you repeat once again the last part? So do you think that?
So it's not like he wants to do this. He wants to have He wants to think that he can do this because it gives him the superiority of, oh, I can do this.
Right.
But it doesn't come with the expense of possibility of failure.
Right.
So it's a very it's a strategy that's very cowardly. But it's like Punpun never talks and voices his opinion because for me I think he's scared or he doesn't care or maybe not. He does care. I think he's scared.
I think most of the time he's scared. Yeah.
And this is kind of the same thing. So because he's scared of conflict, he's also afraid to fail.
Yeah.
So that it transpires to the astronomy.
Do you think you also think that way?
Yes, definitely. But,
Really?
Yeah. But I think I've become aware of it very recently, and I start to fight it because I have a lot of plans and ideas, but when you look closely, nothing actually comes out of them.
Yeah.
They just stay in the state of the possibility I can do this because I have the knowledge or I can get the knowledge, but I never actually push through and do this. So I think this is the opposite. It's not like he wants to do it.
Yeah.
He really doesn't, but he wants to think that he can, so that his ego will not hurt.
Yeah, definitely interesting because to be honest, 3 years ago I also think the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So I also kind of like aware that hey, I should not use the word that I'm just lazy. I don't want to do that because I don't want, but I definitely can do that. Nowadays I'm more like, you know what? Maybe I cannot do that.
Yeah, that's
I'm just finding a reason to say that I'm avoiding.
You want to,
right.
If you accept the thought, I cannot do it.
Exactly.
The other thought is, oh, I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough.
Exactly.
But if you have a mindset, I can, but I don't want to because I'm lazy. Then it's lazy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is also what I think about Punpun.
Yeah.
The interesting part is I never think that way when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, I was like,
Yeah.
I always be able to do that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
But the more I'm getting older, the more like there's a lot of risks and there's a lot of like something that I cannot control.
Yeah.
The more the cowardness comes in, and I just make it as a laziness, and I also like making me happy by saying that I can do that, but I don't want to do it. Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, I never knew that those kind of mindset happen in Japan, Poland, and also in Indonesia.
I think it's universal.
Yeah, it looks like it's universal.
Humans develop similarly everywhere. And
Okay, interesting. So let's go to the teenage part. For me, teenage part is the most interesting part because he changed a lot. Right? Even in the drawing, right? If you notice it, like he came from bird and then become like tetrahedron, and then changed something before the demon part.
Yeah.
So he changed a lot, and then he also learned to lie more. There's a lot of like lying to the girls that he met.
Yeah.
But and also he met a lot of girls. I don't think you are in this. I don't know whether you have ever experienced the same stuff as what he had, but do you think? I mean, comparing to the both childhood and also teenage, which one do you like more in terms of like story?
I'm not really a fan of either.
Ah, really?
Yeah, they're both sad and depressing.
But which one do you think is better for you to anyway? I mean, not only in like happy, but which one do you favor or like memorable or like?
I like the childhood more, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just
anything that you remember from the teenage part?
I think that but I feel like in the teenage part, Punpun was very artificial. He was like not even he can be like yes, that's fine. He cannot. I mean, he can change it to some extent, but to the core, he'll be the same person. But in the teenage part, I think he started to act like someone else.
Right. He did. Right. He even changed his name.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind
so So that's why I don't like that about him, because it's very artificial, and I don't like it.
I see.
Okay, and which one do you like more?
I think I like the teenage part more.
Teenage, why?
Yeah. Because I think I'm a chaotic person, right? Like I'm far more chaotic than average people, I guess.
Okay.
And the teenage part is the most chaotic part for me, even compared to the ending, to be honest.
How is it chaotic?
Because you know what, in childhood it's too plain for me.
Okay.
It's like just. I think in the childhood part, the story that I like is about the uncle.
Okay.
Which is definitely chaotic.
Yeah.
And in childhood part, I just see he is as a silly boy, you know, like just accepting.
That's what he is, I guess.
Yeah, kind of, but he isn't, right? I mean, I think what I like about the childhood is like the contrast between his school performance and his own personality. Because as I say, we will see him as a silly boy when we just read the personality stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know, is it deliberate or not? But the manga artist make him smart enough to get a good score.
Yes.
So I like that contrast. I like that they're saying like it's not intelligence that mainly that.
Punpun is not like an intelligence.
Exactly,
like,
right.
Especially the teenagers, he can manipulate the girls that he met. So it
right.
some intelligence.
That is where I'm going. So I like the contrast from there.
Yeah.
Instead of using those intelligence for something that's more productive.
Oh yeah.
But he just used it for manipulation for something that he desired.
Yeah.
Which is love.
Yeah. That's the thing. Punpun doesn't want to succeed. I think that Punpun doesn't want to succeed in the science or
right.
thing. So because he wants to have the state, I can do this. So that's why he's using it for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. And the other reason is like that is the first time I saw Punpun thinking more about life rather than just love, because he got a chance to have an intern in the real estate agent.
Yes.
And he did pretty good job. I mean, the real estate owner loved him and wanted to try him to recruit him.
Yeah, but at this point he already dropped that drum and stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
It's already out of the
Right. So what I mean is like. Sure. But it's fine. So, but what I'm trying to say is like, so he's a pretty, not even decent. He's pretty intellectual person, but he just get lost. I really like that depiction.
He found himself. Like I think that when I first saw how Punpun is drawn, it's like a bird, but not really. It's like a yellow blob with a peak.
Yeah.
So for me, he's just like kind of an amalgamation of someone.
Okay.
So he never found. That's how I interpreted it on the first time. That he doesn't know who he is. That's why he's drawn like this.
Right.
And when you go to the end, you see, it's the same. So.
But for me, on the teenage side, he also changed a lot in the teenage. Right? I mean, in the face.
Yeah.
So it's like finding identity stage, right? And he still remembers so much about Aiko. Every time Aiko comes in his life, he's going down again.
Yes.
Every time he remembers Aiko in his life, going down again.
Yes.
I like those kind of depiction.
Yeah.
Because it's amazingly accurate about reality.
Yes. For whom?
At least for me. I mean, at least for me, depicting every other person that I met in my life.
Like in what way?
In a chaotic way, like people used to be complex like we always change in a way. Like I mean, in manga, it's of course it's pretty short. It's just like one period of teenage life. But I saw it just like I saw everyone as those kind of. I see everyone as those kind of depictions. Like you always change yourself because of what kind of hardships or what kind of happiness that you experience from your surroundings. So I saw that depiction clearly only on the teenage life. Because again, we know that later in the next part, it will be more like very polarized to a certain story in the later part. And in the beginning, the childhood part is just like plain. For me, it's just like plain.
Yeah.
But in the teenage, there's a lot of like spiciness. Every time you read each page, except Pegasus, Pegasus the god guy, that kind of like, it's also fun, but it makes it not boring, but also makes it boring. You know what I mean? Like,
If you are very interested in Punpun's story,
yeah.
a few chapters of Pegasus,
Yeah.
off-putting.
Right. But I heard the mangaka deliberately give that
Yeah.
so that people are not bored. I was like, okay, it makes it more boring, but looks like it also helps me want to know more about Punpun because the mangaka said that actually those stories are like two different kind of story that he put together in one comic book. So he want to show that I can put this kind of like artistic
I
style.
feel like he just put it because to create some, I was waiting for the stories to come out, for something to come out of the Pegasus story, and at the end it didn't really matter if it was there or not.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I was kind of let down by the Pegasus story. It was interesting to some extent, but didn't really contribute much.
Exactly. But he said that it is deliberate. I was also surprised when I was reading it. But anyway, so let me continue. So so I think that chaoticness is what I like. Because again, sometimes it's funnier or like happier to see someone else drama rather than being the actor of that drama. And for me, reading Punpun's teenage period is that kind of thing. I really like those drama of his life, and I'm not the one who played on that drama. But maybe it's not on you, right?
So you had a break from your own drama.
Yeah. Exactly.
You found comfort in reading Punpun's drama because you feel like you're a better person?
No, definitely not. I definitely think I'm just the same as him.
Okay.
But for me, it's like reading that, it makes me feel that first, I'm not alone. Second, everyone is just the same. There's no one is better than anyone.
I guess Punpun is pretty unique in this world, so.
But not only Punpun, right? Like Sachi, the other girl that draw the manga.
She's very normal.
She's far from normal, no?
Why?
I don't know how do you define normal, but she cannot even respect someone like Punpun that tries so hard to help her. And
That's he?
Yeah, I think so. And she even blamed Punpun for that.
For what?
For being for being pushy on what kind of relationship they want to have. I mean, for me, Punpun is just want to have a decent, normal relationship, and she doesn't want that and blame him on it. It's really weird. Just say no if you don't want to say no, but he does. But definitely, she doesn't want to say no. She's not brave enough to say no, and she's not brave enough to say yes and just blame it to him. And those kind of depiction is only picturized well in the teenage period, I think. Not only Sachi, but also there's several girls too, right?
I think it's hard to have normal relationship with Punpun because, and I think that she felt it because first thing, he doesn't talk.
But he talked with her
a little bit, but she is the one that's always talking.
But
so being with him means that for the rest of her life, or like for however long the relation will last, she will have to carry the conversation every time, and Punpun will just be hanging there. And from her point of view, she's talented, she's beautiful, and I don't know how Punpun looks like, but not the most entertaining guy.
Yeah, maybe, that's true.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, if I were her, I would not go for Punpun either.
Yeah, but to be honest, the only man that can live together with her in the depiction of the manga is only Punpun.
Why?
I mean, she tried, right? She tried, and she also had a divorce with his husband.
Yeah.
And then I think there's also several depiction of like, she maybe tried to make a boyfriend and she didn't get it well.
We don't know.
In text, I mean, not like, in a way, I read it that way.
Okay.
I read it that way at least. So, she should be thankful. I mean, we know at the last part, but anyway, before I read the last part.
Okay. Why do you think she likes Punpun?
Because if she doesn't like it, Punpun, she will not sleep together with him.
Yeah, but why do you think she likes him? For what reason? For what value does he bring to her life?
For being there with her.
A lot of people can be there.
That is what I'm trying to say. No. There's a lot of people that doesn't even able to be there for you. That's what I'm trying to say. It's very hard to find someone that can accept you in a way that whatever you do, I will stay there.
But what weird thing that did she do that?
Because
that only Punpun can withstand it.
we saw that she made a lot of like heartbreaking, not made, but she said a lot of like heartbreaking words to Punpun, and the several early relationship that they had,
Okay.
several moments of the early relationship that they had,
Okay.
and Punpun even blamed himself for those stuff.
Okay.
Like she's the one who is being problematic. She kind of like blame it on Punpun, and Punpun even accept it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like what? From my point of view, if you think about it logically, she is talented.
Right.
She has something going on for her,
Right.
and Punpun is there in his apartment doing
Right.
nothing.
But Punpun did something. Punpun helped on her mama.
Yeah, but it was her that initiated it.
Yes.
And what Punpun produced was not good enough.
Oh
for-
yeah, definitely at the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing I don't understand. Why does she want Punpun?
I mean, how to say that? First of all, I think it's not hard to agree that she definitely, she at least shows that she needs Punpun in a way that she doesn't cut ties with him. Because you saw even in the later part when he was when he was running out of the town,
Yeah.
she's the one who initiatively want to search for him,
Yeah.
even like looking for
Yes.
his uncle and
Yes,
stuff
yes,
like that,
yes.
right? For me, it was because she finally realized it's hard to find someone that can accept you just like you are.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe this one,
It's an interesting point.
yeah, because maybe this one I can answer it this way because I had several relationships, right?
Okay.
When you say that everybody can be there,
Mm.
I don't think that is definitely true.
Mhm.
It's very, very hard to find someone who can be there for you.
Mhm.
We are not saying about like helping, like there's something to utilize,
Yeah.
like for anything, right? I mean, it can be anything. It can be, let's say someone beautiful.
Mm.
You can hope for pride on going out with her or going out with him, right?
Yeah.
You can, if he's super smart or like she's super smart, you can also expect our partner to help us on business, on getting money, or something like that, right? But being there and always supporting us, I think that is also one of the hardest traits to find. And I might not want to have a partner that is smart, rich, but never be with me. And I think you're right. I mean, maybe Sachi was thinking the same thing as you. I mean, maybe Sachi, the manga artist, doesn't want to be serious with Punpun yet. Maybe until the end, she is not serious anyway. But because she was afraid, so this is what I'm trying to say. She was blaming Punpun in a way, and not blaming, but she was kind of see Punpun as nothing good to be serious for.
Yeah.
But actually, maybe she is actually just coward enough to accept that I might not. Maybe the one that I need is not something that is useful for me in a way that I can utilize it for.
Okay.
But just being there for me because I just want to be heard and also being exist in someone's life.
But the thing about Punpun, he is not good.
Yeah, at the time maybe.
Punpun
Yeah.
is not a good person.
Yeah, at
His
the time.
motivation is very
Ill.
yeah. So I think that she kind of does the bullet.
But to be honest, at the time when Punpun had a relationship with her,
Okay.
I think that is the most purest relationship he had at the time.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he tried so many times to sleep together with her and
Yeah.
is not able to do it,
Yeah.
but it's still in a relationship anyway. It's
Yeah.
situationship, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool, right? I mean, pretty cool in a way that she doesn't really need to think that she was just ill motivated. He even purely just want to help. Of course, sometimes help is not as good as what it should be,
Yeah.
but he tried.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's a fair point.
Yeah, so that's why I like those teenage stages far more than other stages.
Okay.
But yeah, we know that. Okay, maybe let's, because the first part you already talked so much. Second part I already talked so much about so let's go to the last part. But before that, we know that actually Aiko coming, right? Aiko was he met Aiko again in the teenage part.
Yes.
That's why life getting worse again,
Yes.
right?
Unfortunately, it did.
Yeah. So what I want to ask you is because, of course, the watchers will not know, the viewers will not know what happened to our current life now. But I'm just curious. So let me ask it this way: if you were Punpun,
Yes. Very.
but you definitely know that you had a cross before to Aiko.
Yes.
You even had kind of like a relationship, childhood relationship.
Situationship.
Right,
Yeah.
right. At childhood. And
The
then,
character of Aiko is very real to me.
oh, okay. And then
Yes.
she went away on several years of your life, right? But we saw together that Punpun always feel that his life was not fulfilled until he can resolve the love of him to Aiko.
Yes.
I have two questions.
Okay.
First, do you think that's stupid way of thinking? Or,
Yes. Absolutely, it is.
Right. So I want to compare it. Like, do you think it is stupid or like stupid noble? You know, right? You think it is stupid, but it's a noble
I
thing.
think it's just stupid. Because, like, Aiko is not really respecting him. Like, whenever she is around, there's always problem for Punpun. And he made him do the promise that was not really accessible for him as a kid. So the blame was put on Punpun, and he really couldn't do anything about it. And Punpun is not the kind of guy that would just not care about it.
Right.
So, and also, Punpun like fell in love on the first sight, which is, I think might be, I'm not sure that exists.
What?
It just, I think that it's not really love, it's just desperation for someone. So when someone is there, you kind of put everything in the one basket, and
But she already went away. Why is the desperation remain?
because after this, Punpun was doing what? He went to high school,
Right.
and he went on one date with a girl. I know he met Sachi, but
Right.
he went on a date with a girl. They didn't really,
And not well.
because he just wanted to have sex with her.
Right.
And then he met Sachi,
Right.
but I think that Punpun. That's again the same thing about astronomy. Punpun wants to be in a state of self-despair, and Aiko is giving him the self-despair.
Oh,
And
that is good. Yeah.
because Punpun is, I think that he is underachiever. He definitely is. He doesn't have a lot of skill, and he doesn't have any tangible achievements. So Aiko is kind of the damsel in distress that Punpun can save. So because Sachi is like independent to some extent, and there's a lot of freedom going on for her, and for Aiko it's not like this.
Yeah, definitely.
So he can kind of save her in a way that he'll feel better about himself. So I don't think he really loves her. He just wants to feel better about himself.
Oh, that is new. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's how I feel about it. So yeah.
So you think it's stupid, right?
Yes, it's purely stupid. It's immature and shows that he's not experienced.
Okay, then my second question is, do you think that if he never met Aiko at the time, he will get a life better than what he had?
Oh, I think he'll find another Aiko. I think there's infinite amount of people that have problems that are too hard for a high schooler or a primary school student to help.
Okay.
No one is responsible for other happiness.
Yeah.
And Punpun wants to be responsible for this because he can feel better about himself. So if Aiko can be every other. For me, she is not special because there is more people that have problems. And the only thing special about her is that she has mental issues. And she's not the only one.
Right.
So I think that Punpun would find someone else to kind of have this fair relationship with. You don't think about it that way. How do you think about it?
I never think it this way. I just
Okay.
thought that, yeah, I mean, I agree that he's stupid, but stupid in a way that I never thought that he want to be in the self-despair, but I think I agree because I met so many people that loves to be in the self-despair state, just as you said, like,
Yeah, because it's easy.
right, it is easy, also hard to blame.
Oh yeah, and also being the victim is very strong.
Right, and also
It's a manipulation strategy.
exactly,
strategy.
and also, as you say, like superhero complex, like they want to want to make people happier, and they think that using this kind of relationship is easier, right? In a way that I'll just do it, you will be happy, I'll be happy, right? Yeah, I always thought just like Punpun is just like too pure, you know. But now,
Is
now
he
you
pure?
say now you say this, maybe he's not that pure.
He's very dirty, especially like the only thing that he wants to do with the girls is to have sex. This is something I do not relate. It's for the record.
you want me to censor it?
No, what?
No, we can talk about it. I'm not putting dollars in the.
No. For the record, if someone that I know watches, that's not my only intention I have. Yeah, so that's what I think of Punpun. It's that he is not good.
Yeah,
He's just a bad person. That's want to be in self-despair and makes everyone miserable.
But I always thought that there's in every, I don't know about female because I'm not a female, but in every male stage of life, there will be a certain period where you always think that kind of things to it, like Punpun. I mean, not in an extreme way like Punpun, because Punpun looks like always think that with his childhood until his adulthood, but I think there's a certain period when
obviously
when puberty hits, right?
But
But Punpun is different, yeah, that's true. I cannot, even until now, even if I agree with the self-despair theory, I cannot even say he's dirty, definitely helpless, as in, he also had a mental issue and he needs to go to psychologist, you know what I mean?
I think Punpun is the kind of guy that would go to psychologist.
Yeah, and to be fair, his parents are not that helpful for him when he was in childhood stage. So
it's also their first time living life, and so no one is responsible for happiness. So I wouldn't blame the parents on him, but if his life strategy, because what we want is to be able to predict our future to some extent. So we pick a certain lifestyle, and that we like somewhere in childhood or like in high school years that we stick to, and if we progress with this lifestyle for a long time, we can predict what will happen as a result of our actions. So when Punpun's lifestyle is self-despair, if he goes to psychologist and his problem gets solved, then he cannot predict what will happen next.
Right.
So that way, I don't think he will ever go. We know what happened, he did it. But I don't think in that hypothetical situation he will go, because this would make him life non-predictable. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. And my last question before we go to the final part.
Yeah.
How about in the child? I haven't asked you this, but how do you feel? How much do you think you relate to with Punpun when he was in the teenage period? Not at all. Because you say him as you call him as dirty, like say, and then you also call him like self-despair state. Because to be honest, I feel maybe at least 60%, 70% to him.
When you were in high school?
No, when I was in university, bachelor. And you were right. At the time, I felt like I want to be that self-despair state. I don't know why, but only on a certain period of my life. And I had a problem too with girl, and then I went to a psychologist though.
Okay.
Like very quick. So
did it help?
Yeah, because this is also interesting. What I think Punpun didn't understand is everybody's life is everybody's life. Everybody's life is everybody's responsible. Everybody's life is each of them self-responsibility.
Okay.
So you don't need to feel responsible to anyone.
Yeah.
And just being not a burden to any of your environment is already sufficient to be a better person.
Okay.
Because most of the people will make other people annoyed.
Okay.
You know, as far as you try your best to not deliberately be a burden to the other environment, other people in the environment is already sufficient. And nobody teaches them. And nobody teaches him that, right?
Yeah.
The other way around, he always feels like a burden.
Yes.
And he always think that he will never be able to not be a burden.
Yes.
And he just stopped trying.
Yes, that's his lifestyle.
Exactly, which is I agree with you, right? That's why I say that super self-despair is really, I agree, really weird. But he also want to win a lot of stuff, which including like sleep with people, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I want to ask you. So, do you think you have some relatable situation with him at the period?
Yeah, like at high school, like as I said before, I'm a little bit retarded in this area of
Right.
life. So I think like it's more relatable to me now than was in high school.
So you think you're stupid now?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's good, right? Yeah.
And you think you are also looking for self-despair now?
Now maybe a little bit less, but yeah, it is easier. And it requires energy now too. Especially if you've been doing this for a long time, then it's kind of hard. But yeah, I think I'll try and work on this. Trying to work on this a little bit.
But
change happens slowly.
Now you know that it is, I mean, because you are aware of that, as it is not good.
Yeah.
Are you trying to get out of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are much better than Punpun then. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but I'm much older than Punpun. And when Punpun was in high school, like, he doesn't know any better.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm older, so that like it's not something I learned in middle school.
Alright.
You know what I mean? And also, Punpun feels like a burden, so that he can avoid unpredictable situations. Because when you are a burden, you don't want to be somewhere.
Right.
And you will just escape.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's true.
You can predict what will happen when you escape.
Right.
You cannot predict what will happen if you stay.
Right.
If you haven't been doing this for your whole life. So for me, it's very reasonable what he does. It's not good, but it is predictable.
Yeah. I mean, for predictability, I mean, even if he does well, even if he did his life well enough, he can still predict it. He just not brave enough to do even that.
Can he?
I don't know whether he can or not, but at least if he tried first, then he had a data to assess the possibility.
Yeah.
But I don't think he even would try.
It's a matter of courage to try.
Yeah. I think there is
not the most courageous guy.
Right.
So,
And here we come to the ending part, which is weird because at the ending part, he became a demon like, right? To be honest, the writers say it's not demon, but it's just cow, right? It's just buffalo because it's related to
Japanese story. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is like he now had a lot of courage thanks to Aiko. Looks like, right?
Okay.
Depicting that way.
Yes.
So what is your thought on that? Do you really think that courage comes from Aiko or?
I don't think so.
So what is your thought on that?
But maybe my view is not correct, but the way I see it is that he has the courage because now he's getting older. He's like an adult. How old? 20?
Yeah,
so,
I think 20.
So because he was living all his life as a loser, the bad emotions accumulated, and he doesn't talk much. He never let them out, and it come to a point when he just had to release them, and he did.
Wow.
And after this, everything went smoother.
I see.
That's how I see it. But like Aiko was definitely the trigger, because in his mind she was special.
Yeah.
And to him she is special.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that all the frustration that he was holding on, he just released them in a very and it was not like a conscious effort. It was just like a split second decision. So that's why I think it was more of a burst of energy than something more.
Interesting.
And that's why I think that later he comes back to his natural state. When like his appearance is back to normal. Because yeah, it happened and now it's not. And Punpun is just fine now.
Right. Okay. Before we come to that part, so I don't think I can agree with you on this. But why? Because
what's your view?
so you were right though. I mean, maybe he is also getting older.
Yeah.
He was just getting older, so he can be a little bit briefer rather than the first stage of his mind and
Was
body.
he brave though? He attacked
So what I
disabled.
right. Yeah, that's true. But so this is where I see it as a brave thing. I was surprised that when they want to run away, he's the one suggesting Aiko to say bye bye first to her mom. I don't think that is super Punpun thing. Maybe it is, but
Punpun wants to be seen as a good person.
Exactly. So at that time, if I remember it correctly, there is sometimes Punpun like ting in the background, like there's a depiction in the manga that Punpun ting in the background rather than talk, right?
Yes.
And he really rarely talks, right?
Yeah.
And you are right. When he was getting older, he talked better. There's a lot of scene when he talks more rather than the child. So
I think his best talking stage was in high school.
Like on the TV stage, right? TV stage.
Yeah.
I agree with you. So I think it is correlated. I think because the manga is super realistic, right? It's like ultra realistic manga. What I mean by ultra realistic is like there's a drawing and then the way to depict human, and also the genre itself is ultra realistic. So I agree, but I like the bravery on Punpun on. Yeah, we can go run away, but I don't want to run away before we say bye-bye because I think it's still solvable. It's something new for me when I read that. And I think he can think sanely enough because of Aiko, which is weird. But also, the same Aiko also is the one that capable enough to drive him crazy. Why? As simple as because his life is all about Aiko. So at the later stage of his life, I then just finally realized that there's something called codependency relationship.
Obviously.
It's
I can see that space.
Yeah, right. Like you put
both of them both of them want to be in the spur.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly. But the thing is, I don't know about Aiko so much. I just saw her as crazy. But the way I say this is this way. Aiko deliberately want someone else to obsess with her. He don't want someone that is not obsessed enough to her.
Maybe that's true.
Because you remember Aiko dumped her boyfriend, the badminton player, because he said that.
I think that he was just too normal.
Exactly. He said that he was too normal in a way that he was not able to be obsessed as what she expected. Right?
Okay.
Punpun loved to obsess into someone.
Yes.
But I'm not sure that he is aware of that. I don't think he's aware that his obsession is not normal. I think he's depicting the love, the pure love is something that is obsession. Even when we were young, there's a lot of Hollywood movie or Disney movies that depict Ken and Barbie is obsessed with each other and they just talk non-stop. But it's just a fiction, right? You can never get that in reality. You should burn your dreams if you want to do something like that. Giving those kind of obsession, which is what Aiko expect from a man.
I think it's doable. I think there are people like Aiko and Punpun, and they attract each other very well.
Yeah, but they will kill someone. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that they will.
I mean, there's a lot of
I think they will most likely kill themselves.
Or that.
At some point.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of serial killer in US. Let's say. Definitely, they had a lot of girls or men.
I I don't know any serial killer.
Okay. But later if you watch them, there's a lot of depiction that they're like playboy or like hot girls that they can brave enough to also kill people. I just see that Aiko doesn't see human as human. But I don't want to blame her that much after I read the later part because I just realized that her life is so miserable too.
Yeah, and the thing is that it was very miserable from the very beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
So the only thing she knows is misery.
Exactly.
So is she a bad person? Yes. Is it her fault?
I don't think so, right?
I also don't think so.
Yeah.
But only
I agree.
everyone is responsible for their actions.
Exactly.
And but it's hard to judge her.
So I don't want to judge her that way.
I would judge Punpun more than her. I think that Punpun's life was better.
But
especially he had the uncle.
Yeah, but for me, Aiko aware of that. I thought so. The other way to say it is Aiko is much smarter than Punpun, and she was. Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so.
And she's aware of it. She's aware that.
Why do you think that Aiko is smarter than Punpun?
At least before the killing part.
Why?
Because she's always the one that manipulates him from the childhood.
But
and she knows that Punpun will be obsessed to her anyway.
Okay. Maybe there's a point.
Because if she doesn't, when the badminton player is still playing, she will not hold his hand and saying that, hey, you can go with me together because this boyfriend is sucks.
Yeah. I think that Punpun might be smarter, but Punpun is driven by lust so badly, and his obsession is just taking all his brain cells.
Okay. If we define the smartness as like IQ based, maybe you're right. But what I mean by smarter is like how to manipulate humans.
Okay. So maybe Aiko is better manipulated.
Yeah, she's much better to understand human to human relationship.
Yeah.
So she can manipulate.
Punpun does nothing about it.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is like that thing, and then. Well, that changed after Punpun finally become a full devil of demon life.
Yeah.
He definitely
That's the thing. Also, the author said it was like about the story, but for me, it's just too coincidental that it's the horns. I don't. Maybe it's just very egoistic of me to say I don't buy the author explanation, or maybe for me personally, the demon-like appearance fits more.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree.
Yeah. So continue.
So I saw him like after he became the demon light, he's much now. He's like opening eye now. He's like he was opening his eye now on real reality.
Yeah.
After he exactly decides something big from his life, which is killing someone. I mean, well, he might not really killing someone because
he did.
I mean, Aiko said that she was the one.
Yeah, and that's as far as spoilers go.
No, it's fine. This is already the part that we can already say spoilers.
We can spoil.
Okay. So, I mean, she already say that you actually
it doesn't really matter.
Exactly, I agree, but
both of them killed her. That's it.
But I agree, but I mean, both of them. I mean, finally after that scene, after he believed that he killed someone, he changed a lot, right? Even in the way of writings, even in the way of drawings.
To some point, after he go back.
Later we will talk about the last part, but I think he changed a lot.
Yeah.
He also decide much more quicker, faster, but also more aggressive.
Yes.
So I think that's the real him.
Yeah.
That he always tried to hold.
Yes. Have you watched Breaking Bad?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Okay.
Oh, that is also the same story?
The Walter White?
Yeah,
the
bald guy, So I just know that he makes narcotics.
I think that his story is very similar to what happened to Punpun. Because, I don't want to spoil Breaking Bad to you, so I'll...
but
you should watch it.
Okay. But I think Punpun is like holding it so much.
Yeah.
So just like what you say, right? So he's trying to be a good person, but he's not.
Yeah.
So he's holding it so much.
Yeah.
But Aiko is always the best girl possible, so that he can be himself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's what he likes.
Right?
Yeah.
He can be himself, that is obsessing someone, and actually I'm not a good person either.
Yeah.
And now he can open up all of that after he finally do something.
Yes, I agree with this. It's a good point that he can, with her, because she is bad, he can also be bad.
Yeah.
They can be both bad.
But he never saw it as bad. I mean, for him. I think
maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe he saw. Yeah, I know that you're not normal enough for any other people. Why are we not together or something like that, right? Yeah, I think how to say it in English. Oh yeah, maybe he's like he saw Aiko as her other his other part of like the long lost part of his life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like, it's like destined to be together.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly, right? And definitely Aiko didn't think that way. I think Aiko just loved that.
Yeah. I think Aiko's. Yeah, maybe you were right that she was just smarter.
Yeah, she was just like, yeah, if you want to be obsessed with me, I'm happy.
Yeah. Aiko can probably find another Punpun.
Yeah, right.
Obsessed about her.
And then after the killing part, she finally also accept him as, you already killed someone for me. That is the most obsessive thing that I can get.
Maybe Aiko wasn't such a bad person because Aiko realized that everyone is after her,
Yeah.
not after Punpun. So maybe she had some good in her, and she decided to kill herself just to release the pressure from Punpun.
To be honest, and that part, I saw Aiko as. Later, you will understand better what I'm trying to say right now.
Yeah.
Again, this is related to how many experience you had on like. Bad love experience. I know you had some, but I don't know, is that enough for you to understand this? But
you're definitely more experienced. You're older.
Yeah, exactly, right? No, but yeah, definitely what I'm trying to say is like when you have so much of those kind of experience, you finally also realize that, oh my god, my time is finished. I don't want to manipulate anyone anymore just because it's like I already done the maximum stakes in my life.
Okay.
Which for her, I think killing her mom is like the final stage of her life. Yeah. She thought that she might have a good life together with someone else after her mom's death, but she finally understands that she cannot, right?
That's the thing. Here I'm conflicted because she was ill.
Right.
She was hurt, and he was also hurt. And it seems like they were hurting a lot.
Right.
And they couldn't go to hospital.
Right.
So that's why I'm thinking. Would she die either way if they just continue running? Maybe she just noticed, hey, I'm gonna die.
I think so.
I might just kill myself. That's the thing. That they never explain it. If she was in such a serious condition that she'll die, I think they said that they need to go to hospital. But yeah, so that's why I think like maybe
Aiko say that they need to go to hospital or Punpun.
So maybe just Aiko realized, hey, I'm gonna die either way. So why? Continue this for any longer. I just kill myself.
I don't know which one is darker between you and me, but I think that is also dark. But my view is like I think it's just as simple as Aiko thought after all of her misery gone, she wanna live. Looks like after all of her misery gone, she still doesn't wanna live.
Yeah. Because her lifestyle was misery.
Yeah, and then
now it's gone.
Right. And when she went together for several days on having fun together with Punpun. Yeah, I mean
fun is an overstatement.
Okay, but when they were running out of the town, they went to a certain park or like somewhere to enjoy the romanticism between the boat. And I think she realized that not even I think she realized she doesn't even happy with that. Mm-hmm. So she just like, okay, then I'm done.
Yeah, maybe.
Which I think Punpun always said on the later part that he's okay on dying, he's okay on like killed by her. You can just take my eyes.
Yeah, he's going crazy.
Yeah, he's becoming like total nuts, but I don't think he's ready to die. Because I think he just finished what he wanted to do, which is be with Aiko.
Yeah.
And as you said, now here comes the last part of the question, and you're right. So
I was just saying, I think that Punpun is not ready to die. It's not the case. How I see it, Punpun is not courageous enough, because killing yourself is easy. Is it? Wait.
I think that's actually that is my question.
It's not like okay.
Which one do you think need more courage? Killing yourself or living a life?
Now, I think you need some courage to kill yourself.
Exactly.
Definitely. But in the long run, living is harder.
Yeah, definitely.
But in short, like the expense of energy to kill yourself, I think it's higher than in a short period of time. So it's like to kill yourself like this, and it ends here, and to live is like this, but it ends like there. See,
yeah, definitely. But what I'm saying is like, so we have two choices, right? Living life or kill ourselves.
Yes.
If you want to kill yourself,
Yeah.
but you're not you don't have the courage enough for doing that,
Yeah.
then you will live the life, right? Now, if you want to live the life, if you want to live out your life, but you don't have enough courage, then you will kill yourself.
I don't think so. Why?
Because for me, Punpun is let's say if he is someone who is still coward at the time, then which one is he coward more? I mean, which one is he afraid of more?
At this
his
point,
life
I don't
or
think
his death?
Punpun is coward anymore. I
Exactly.
think this is the point at which he realized, hey, I'm actually capable of doing some very courageous thing.
True. I think the trigger is like finally making Aiko's not happy, but finally
Fulfill the promise.
Exactly.
Yes.
Finally fulfill Aiko's promise, resolve all of his doubt.
I think it was more I think that a few things contributed. So first the fully find his promise.
Right.
Second one is killing them all. I think it also, I know it sounds
Definitely.
but I think it showed him that he is dangerous.
Right.
And before he felt like a loser, and now he says, actually, I am dangerous. So I am someone that people have to look out for. And the third part is, you know that when the stranger, they met in the store, he left the account on the
Right.
floor.
When you want to hit him.
Yeah. So Punpun basically went fully
Aggressive,
yes. So I think at this moment he knew that he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And that the death situations like made him realize that he can do serious stuff if he really wants to, if he really pushed.
I agree, but come back to the last few is like, come back to the previous few is, so I think the reason why he don't want to take his own life is just as simple as because he want to live together with Aiko. But now Aiko is dead. He also like maybe finally realized he needs to move on. Because again, he never moved on before because he always blamed himself.
Yes.
But now he knows that it's not his mistake anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe now he can move on, which is related to the later part. He finally had a dream, right? Do you remember that part? Like chapter 145, I guess.
Okay.
So he had a dream talking with Aiko.
Okay.
You can read it again later. But
Okay.
he said, "Sorry, I think I cannot."
Join you.
No, I think that is the message, but the other message is like, sorry, because Aiko tell him that you should promise me that you will never forget me, because if you are, I will kill you, something like that. But he said it looks like I will never be able to have that promise, because I think I will need to move on.
Okay.
In those kind of life. Which is related also that he also said that even now I'm already forgetting your voice. And I think in the dream he said something like that. So I think for me the reason, because it's a little bit jump, right? I think the scene from letting Aiko in someone stranger's house, sitting while dead and he gone, and the scene when his old friend, his childhood friend met him in the road. It's a little bit jumpy, like it's a deliberate jump. So I think it's related to the fact that I think he want to move on.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think he did want his own life, because now after all of his crazy stuff, after killing someone's mother, I think he finally realized he actually had a decent life if he wanna do it well.
He can have.
Can have. Yeah, exactly. So okay, then last part of the this podcast. Oh wow, it's already 1 hour and 20 minutes. So so last part is, do you think this is a happy ending? Before you read the interview, So before you read the interview,
Before I read the interview.
Personally, do you think it is a happy ending or no?
No.
And why?
Because before I read the interview, because the story of author thinks of himself, so his intel is valuable because it's part of his story. Like if he is Punpun, then we can, by viewing his story, we can kind of get in the mind of Punpun a little bit more. So I think before I didn't consider the fact that the only thing. So we can interpret the Punpun and the characters in two ways. So I think you read some of the, how to say it?
What? Interview?
No, like interpretation.
Ah.
Have you read some interpretation?
Yeah, sure.
So I think there was one that was saying that we can see the Aiko and Sachi and Punpun as the author.
Okay.
And the Aiko is the past of the author. Punpun is the present, and Sachi is his professional career. So, for me, it's a happy ending in this interpretation because he was able to move on and have a better life because of his professional career. And that means that everyone, when they put their work to the profession that they really love, can change. And that part of life can push the present to something better. That is Sachi, that is his profession. And that's why I think now it's a happy ending. But before this interpretation, I felt that he just went back to where he started, and the cycle will continue. He will find another Aiko, or maybe someone else will become the source of his despair, and he'll just be still the same guy doing stupid things. Wow.
Okay.
Is it happy for you?
Yeah. So before I also talk about the interview from the Japanese interview with the author. Personally, I always thought it was happy ending.
Okay, why? What?
Because for me, it's a happy ending for everyone except Aiko, to be honest.
But Punpun is like he was before. He wanted to change. That's all he does for the whole story, changes. And now he's back. So
I saw it as
15 years of his life is gone.
Exactly. So I saw it as a happy ending in a terms that, in a way that he finally realized that sometimes you can try your best to change something, but sometimes it just doesn't work and you need to accept it. Maybe happily is a strong word, but you just need to accept it. And I think the latest chapter is depicting that acceptance of it, because he's already changed his state, right? I mean, as you said, he changed back to the little bird.
Yeah.
So I think he's like, I always thought that it's a form of acceptance.
Okay.
I'm saying that, okay, now I just go back to my normal life.
Yeah.
Just, as you say, maybe you will go back to the circular, vicious circle of weirdness, of love that he usually had. But maybe that is your normal, you know what I mean? So maybe you just need to accept that. I always thought it that way.
Yeah, but is it happy for is he happy when he's in the Aiko state?
Definitely not, but I thought it was like a happy ending, as in. So for me, maybe it's the wrong term, but I thought it was like a happy state that might be go again to the vicious cycle, but this is your happy state, which is being decent. So,
just fine.
Right. So maybe you should, with all of the readers, you should understand that life is super complex and chaotic.
Yeah.
So sometimes decentness is already
Enough.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But you're right. So by the way, the interpretation, actually what I read about the interpretation of the authors is exactly what you see before you read it. Why? Because he said you made it this way. You made it that he doesn't have an ending change.
Yeah. Back to
beginning. The authors use this kind of very similar terms, but very simple. He said that, oh yeah, for me it's a bad ending.
Yeah.
Why? Because everything that he won,
he
didn't get it.
I mean,
even living together with Aiko.
Yeah, the thing is that's he really wanted that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he wanted the drama, that he wanted to do the Aiko. Did he really wanted Aiko? I think he just wanted someone strange enough and bad enough.
Yeah, but anyway, he doesn't get it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so for order, he
Yeah.
actually want to deliver a bad ending,
Yes.
but he was also saying that he also surprised some people see it as a happy ending, and he said he loves it. He loves the fact that there is a controversy on how to interpret it because it makes the sales up. but anyway, he also loved the idea that people, it's not boring because if it's an ending that is easy to interpret, it would be boring.
Yeah.
But he said that he would let it be.
Yeah. What do you think of the character of God in the? And why does the uncle taught him how to say the words that make the God appear?
I honestly don't know what is the. I mean, before I read the interview, I definitely don't understand. Except that I always thought that the writer had a criticism toward religion.
Okay, definitely I think it is the case, but I don't think that's why the God appeared there, right?
No, I thought it was the reason is just to criticizing society on believing God. Because at the story, those chapters that has God on it feels like silly.
Okay.
For me, I mean, every time I read that part, it's like, why do I need to read this part? I just want to make it quicker because it just feels like nothing important.
Yeah.
The author sometimes put like political discourse to using the God when the governor election. Do you remember there is a chapter about the governor election? And then he campaigned about himself because he wanted to be a governor. Yeah, I just always thought that he deliberately put that just for the sake of like releasing some of his opinion on society. So I always thought the God story is not that important and stupid, to be honest. But it needed just for the sake of knowing what kind of an author he is, and also just to make it not very boring.
But don't you have the thoughts like when you do something bad, or when you feel like you should have done something but you don't? So you don't have the thing that
okay, this is good.
And I think that's the God and this is what it is.
Right.
This is the thing. This is the thing that the thought that you have when this kind of situations happen. So you wanted to do something, you don't, and then there's the feeling, I should do it.
Right. This is
you
good.
are bad, you are a loser. You should do it.
Yeah, this is good because I like the depiction, the way he depict the childhood Punpun is nearer to God. But the way the later he develops on his life, he's far away from the God. Like the more complex his life is, the more he's not into God.
But isn't it
just
like
forget it?
The God is closer to him. The God is smaller, but at the end of before he stops his eyes, like killing the God, he is in him.
Oh yeah. But what I mean is like I didn't see it that way.
Okay.
That's why I just like think it. That's why I just think that he was. I like the depiction that when you were in your childhood stage, I think most of people ask the same thing about what is God and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it helps you develop yourself as a good boy.
It gives you moral code.
Right. But the more you go to your teenage states, you just always think that your life is so hard and I don't believe God anymore, and every time I ask for God, it doesn't help. I mean, again,
I don't personally agree with it, but okay.
I understand. But what I'm trying to say is the depiction of the manga, and I think it's more. It's more
universal.
More relatable to majority of the person.
Okay, yes, I can agree.
Obviously, there's some like, obviously, if you're religious, you would not think it that way, but it's more relatable to most of the majority. So I always thought that the depiction is deliberate from the manga artist, but unfortunately, when I read the interpretation, it was not that way.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I haven't thought of it. Yeah, it actually makes kind of sense. And he's like in adulthood, he kills the guy.
Yeah.
So that's what happens
Anyway, later on, all of the cod, because people call it cod, right? Will be dead anyway, right? Because of the fire.
Yeah.
And nothing changed on the world. You know what I mean? I think they are like trying to. Of course, it can be interpreted in many ways, but I don't think that the manga artist is a religious person.
Oh, yeah, I don't think he is.
Yeah, I don't think he is. So I think he is trying to, and maybe a lot of East Asian culture is trying to say that you need to rely on yourself rather than something spiritual. I don't know which one is true, right? I don't want to debate on that, but I think he's trying to give that kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
That
maybe.
Yeah, you need to.
But for me, the god and Punpun is that depiction of shadow, like in everyone. It's like the dark side, and that's but.
Like the god saved the earth, right? You remember there's a chapter when the gods sing and then die together. The authors actually also say that in the interview. If we read carefully, there was actually a depiction of meteor onto the world. But when the god sacrificed themselves, the earth was
you
not
mean Pegasus?
Yeah, Pegasus.
I was thinking about different. I was thinking about God.
Yeah, but it's the same. I mean, those Pegasus is also praying to that god, right? The big head guy, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it the same?
No, I don't think so.
Really? I always thought they are the same god to pray on the same god.
I think that.
Maybe I was wrong.
At some point, Punpun realized that there is no god.
Yeah, exactly.
It's me that I'm talking to. So he's basically talking to himself. He's basically confronting his shadow thoughts, his bad side.
Yeah, that's true.
The one that he's trying to hide, and it always comes up when he's in a low moment, like he does something bad.
Okay. Because there's also like the god that with the shit face.
Yeah. The poop guy.
Yeah, so I always thought they're always the same.
I don't think so.
Okay, then maybe my interpretation was not right.
I think the poop guy is. That's the part I don't really understand. It's a part of the shonen manga because
it is.
Pegasus and all the magic warriors were supposed
to
be shonen manga.
It is.
So I think it's that in a different universe. Like this is the guy, the poop guy, that's saving the earth from the meteorite, and there is the inside of Punpun mind.
I see.
This is the guy.
But anyway, I still believe that the big head guy god, because at the same time. The poop guy is actually also a god for another childhood friend, right? Yeah. But the differences is for Punpun, the later he develops, the later he was disentangled with the god. But for his childhood friend, he did disentangle first. Initially,
he tried to pretend he doesn't see.
Exactly. Sorry. He tried to disentangle. Just to make himself
more
normal, and also a good friend to the other friend, right? To the other logical friend. But later on, he just felt like, oh, this is not me. Actually, the god stuff is more me, and I want to go back to those call. So I think it's just another contrast on some weird people can be both. Normal people can also be both. So
exactly.
I like those kind of. To be honest, the comic book is so complex that I really love it.
It's great. It's definitely worth reading. Even though it will probably make you depressed.
Yeah.
It's very fun though.
It's like very chaotic in a way that is super beautiful.
Yeah, but it can be boring at moments.
Yeah. Some part is very boring.
I think it's very interesting if you see yourself as
one of the characters.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's not always the case, but the people that start reading Punpun are not the normal.
Yeah, I think so.
So there always will be a character that you can relate to.
That's true. All right then. I think we already take so much time. Okay, let's say bye to our viewers. Thank you so much, Bozdek.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. I guess you could say oyasumi.
Oh yeah, oyasumi. Bye. Which one?